Exactly. By me. Oh. Good boy. Go to bed. Okay, goodbye. If you're early, we will wait on everyone else, hopefully. And if there's just one of you, then I'll answer any questions you have. Wow, this is awkward. You're okay. Come on. Why? Why are you asking that question? No. Why does everyone always think that? This is an Earth Science midterm review. Isn't that what the title says? Hi, Miss Frazier. So we'll wait till like 7:02, and then we'll get started. Make sure you have these in front of you, because that's going to help, because that's what I'm going to focus on. Get these. Why am I not teaching? I am not teaching because the live stream review doesn't start till 7, and it is not 7 o'clock yet. I started it early so people didn't freak out. Where's the live stream? You relax. Who even are you? Who's the person who thinks I'm high? Well, you subscribe to Nyla. Well then. Alright. Again, grab these, please. And we're going to get started. Atlas is sleeping by the heating vent. Over there. I'll get Atlas at the end. Let him sleep. Let him sleep. Alright. We're going to start with, latitude and longitude. Again, there are observation and inference questions, but I believe that most of us get that. So I'm basically just going to write things on a clipboard, because my handwriting, if I tried to do it like through a PowerPoint, would just be disgusting. And everyone would complain. Trust me, my handwriting is way neater doing it this way. So let's try to follow along. So, I mean, I wrote out things on the board for all of us to know, but I'm going to focus on kind of the reference tables today. And then again, you had practice questions doing time zones with latitude and longitude. You need to remember each time zone. I guess I'll write this down because I guess I did not write that in the thing. So your longitude equals time zones. Actually, I think I did. So each 15 degrees equals 1 hour. So remember there was like a question about that. So longitude equals time zones. Each 15 degrees of longitude, again, not latitude, longitude, is 1 hour. And the other important thing we need to remember is that east is ahead and west is behind. So obviously in the question, no matter what you're given, you're going to be given something. Oh, people's comments. And then you are going to have to use this, or you may be given that it's 2 hours, how many degrees of longitude are they apart. Or you're going to be given the degrees and you're going to have to figure out where the time is. And you just have to remember this part. So if you haven't been studying that, there are a few questions based off of that. Then what I want to look at is our lovely reference tables page. There are quite a few questions. Reading page 3 of our Earth Science reference tables. We did a lab on it. I made you draw in the lines. On the midterm, I do ask that you do not write on the reference tables, but if, worst case scenario, if you need to make a light mark on them, they're the test copies that we've been using, so I know some people there might have reference tables with light marks in them, but don't be like drawing 50 billion lines like I'm about to be. So again, your longitude lines go up and down. So taking a look at all the numbers around the side, you just have to figure which ones match. So your 70s match. So again, we drew these lines in here. I'm going to draw them in really quickly. Our 70s all match. And then our 40s all match going across. So basically on the exam, if you forget which ones, remember we did this. We did a whole lab on this. Unless you're Brianna, then you weren't here for this. But hopefully you did this in your school. So again, your longitude lines are the ones going across. So on this map, they're the 40s. I said that completely wrong, didn't I? Our latitude lines are going across, and they are the 40s. Our longitude lines are going up and down, and those are in the 70s. Oh my god. I'm not answering you, Nyla. So, the thing we need to remember that we're not given in here is that New York is always... The latitude, these 40 numbers, are always going to be north and the 70 numbers are always going to be west. Honestly, I think most of those choices are multiple choice, so I think we can do it. So again, if you're given a question on this page, just find whatever city it is and then read over. So like, for instance, if you were asked something about Ithaca, so I just drew a star on Ithaca. Read down and read over and see what numbers they're between. And then do your best process of elimination. Your latitude always comes first, so this 40 number is always going to come first, and your longitude always is going to come second. That's basically what I have to say on this reference table page, because none of you probably have it in front of you, so even if I asked you what the latitude and longitude were, no one would be able to tell me. But that is how we use this page. Any questions on this reference table page? Like I said, there's at least 3 or 4 questions on this page, and just knowing your time zones about latitude and longitude. Again, you could be given like a grid. Here, I'll draw an example. Harvard, yes, I love it. This is absolutely going to be a disgusting picture. You all are just going to have to deal with it. Shocking. I remember on a test there was a question like this, and a lot of us got this question wrong, and I thought it was pretty simple. So you may be given a chart like this, and you'll be given like point B, and you'll be asked what is its latitude and longitude. So you need to remember its latitude lines are here, so it's on 10. Again, we're north of 0. So 10 north, and then 20, there's my 0, so it would be 20. I guess on here it would be to the east. So there are simple ones like this, but as long as you remember which lines are your latitude lines, or latitude lines are latitude, flatitude, they're the ones going across. Longitude are straight up and down. So there will be questions like this. Are there any questions on figuring out a problem like this? Do you want me to write out an example problem, see if you could do it, and then go over it? Does anybody want to give me any input on that? If not, I'll move on to topographic maps. What does yes mean, Chloe? I forgot what I said. Do you want me to go over another example or move on? Oh, Kristen, you're tuning in. Would you look at that? All right, an example. Can you go over the time? Okay, I'll do both. Oh, this Sharpie smells terrible. All right, I'm going to hold this up. Everybody get your answers. So you put the latitude first. Yes. All right, so first let's do this, and then we'll do a time example. So right now, for all 3 points, for A, B, and C, I would like you to write down the latitude and the longitude of those 3 points. So A, B, and C, write the latitude and the longitude. Remember, you need directions, as in north, south, east, and west. Who are all of these people? I know the picture's behind me crooked. That's the point of it. It's pizza. Duh. Alright, I'm going to do A first because it's really easy. So if we look at A here, it's on 0, so it's 0 degrees, and it's also on 0 degrees longitude. So A is 0, 0. Hi, Nicole. I'll see you tomorrow. So that's point A. Now if we move over to point B. So again, we want to do our latitude first. So our latitude are our lines going across. So point B is on a line that is labeled. It's on 20. But notice there's a 20 down here and a 20 up here. So what we have to do is which direction is downward. That would be south. So I guess I should probably write this on the bottom. So A was 0 degrees at 0 degrees. B, so far we have 20 degrees. Again, saying downward would be 20 degrees, south. Then for our longitude lines, there are lines going up and down, so it's also on a 20 degrees of longitude, but which way? Oh, this may be different because of the screen. That is my west. That way to me is west when I'm holding the paper. Hopefully that didn't mess that up, but anyway, it is 20 degrees west, so then that would be my longitude. So point B is on 20 degrees west. How do you figure out direction? You just use north, south, east, and west. So, you know your like typical compass rows here? So north, south, east, and west, your typical compass rows. So when we're talking about our lines of latitude, if I were to use east and west, again, it's not going to distinguish this 20 from this 20. What's going to distinguish this 20 from this 20 is me going north or south, not east or west. So that is why we use north and south for latitude and east and west, because it tells me which way to move. Like if I were to put my finger on this line and, sorry, let me get to 20. If I were to put my finger on this 20 line and you told me to go west, I would still be on this 20 line. The only way you're going to get me off this 20 line is if you tell my finger to either move north or south. Yes, Sam, 0 is the equator. So then you do the same thing with your prime meridian, your 0 here. So if you told me to move north and south with longitude, I'm still on this line. You want me to tell me to move west or east to get me off of that line. So then let's look at point C up here. Again, it's on a 20 and a 20. We just have to figure out the right direction. So hopefully you figured out that C is at 20 degrees north and 20 degrees east using what I just went over. So any other questions doing this, or should I move on to a latitude and longitude question? Nicole, I'm ignoring your comment. I honestly never sit on this couch. There's something over that way that I sit on. Anywho. Alright, so moving on to latitude and longitude now. Alright. So here's a simple example. So I'm going to put in direction because I think it looks weird when I show it on the screen. I'm not sure. But I'm going to put in the direction up here. Yes, this video is being recorded so you can watch it later. Alright, so we have another grid. So at point A it's noon. Over here it's noon. What time is it at point B? I'll leave this up here, let you try to figure it out. It's also Kayla's dog too. So again, at A it's noon. What time is it at B? I actually haven't done it yet, so we'll figure it out. Again, important things to remember. The east is going to be ahead in time. So whatever time we get for B should be in the morning, not in the afternoon. So remember, east is ahead in time. So A at noon should be ahead. And when we go to B, we should be going back in time. So we're going back into the morning hours. All right, so let's figure out how we would do this. So again, every 50, I made it easy. I made the scale really easy for everybody. So each line is 15 degrees apart. That's not always the case, so please keep that in mind. So every 15 degrees I go back an hour. So if it's noon here, if I go to this line, that's 15 degrees, that's 1 hour behind. So now that's 11. Now I'm going to go another 15 degrees. That's 10. Then I'm going to go another 15 degrees. That's 9. And then finally I go my last 15 degrees, and it would be 8 a.m. Are there any questions on how I did that? Did everybody see how I did that? Can we move on to topographic maps? Yes, 8 a.m. Redo, please. So when do the lines count as 15 minutes? Never. I'm going to move on because it's already been 22 minutes. All right, so topographic maps. Again, the packet goes over a ton of examples. I'm not going to go over a profile in the live stream because it's just going to be too much and I don't have a map. So I'm just going to go over the basic reading of a topographic map. So if you don't know how to calculate gradient or a topographic profile, you should look back and rewatch the video. I can post whatchamacallit? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I could post extra help videos for you after this live stream if you don't know what I'm doing. But yeah. You're all in high school. You're not from a college. Gosh. So I'm going to draw a very similar example to what I drew in class. So whenever you are given... Okay, Sam, yeah, after this I will give you more. Nyla knows whoever Brutality is because they follow her channel. So, anywho. Alright. So whenever you are given a contour interval here, remember, my contour interval is 100 feet. So even though only one line is labeled, I can then go and label them all. So it goes 100, 200, 300, 400. Again, my suggestion when we did this unit is when you're given this contour interval and only one of your lines are labeled, go and label all of them. So I am going to do that so there's no confusion. Again, they're all just going up by 100, so I just labeled all of my lines there for you going up. So if you were asked what is the elevation of point B, again, these maps show us the elevation. So the elevation of point B, we're just reading straight off of that line. Point B is right on 300. So, and again, my contour interval's in feet, so if we're talking about unit, it would be feet, it would be 300 feet. But then if you get a point like point A, somebody give me a possible elevation of point A. Oh, and if you didn't know, there's like a 30-second delay. 501 works, 506 works, 525 works, 505 works, 525 works, 518 works, 550 works, 507 works, 599 works. So again, you just wanted a value between 500, and then again my contour interval is 100, so anything between 500 and 600 would have been possible for that point. Alright, let me draw one more map with a river, and then honestly we're going to move on. Not 600, correct Nicole, not 600. Alright. Alright, so remember, when you're given a contour map and you see these bends in the contour intervals, your rivers aren't always going to be labeled. I think there may be a question like this where you have to actually draw in the river based on your contour lines and which way it's flowing. So what we need to remember that your river's going to be flowing opposite of the V's, or if it makes more sense to you, out of the V's. It doesn't follow the V's. It's opposite of the V's, opposite of the V's, opposite of the V's. So if you had a map like this with no elevation, no information, and you were just asked to draw which direction the river's flowing based on the V's, again, opposite of the V's. So let me draw in my arrow here. So opposite of the V's would be coming out of the map. It's not going towards the way the V's are pointing. It's going opposite of the V's. So yes, Miss Fraser, southwest. Any questions about rivers? Or if we were given elevation, just remember it flows downhill, so it's going to be flowing from higher elevations to lower elevations. Any specific questions based off topographic maps? You have so many review sheets. You have a test. You have the review packet. So there's so many example problems, and I will post some extra help videos based off of gradient and the topographic profile. Live streams more often? Oh. I mean, if we take out test review in class and you would rather do a live stream, I would say fine. But then we do no review in class and we just do a live stream. Then I'm fine with it. Alright. What was after? Oh, minerals. Minerals. Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll take a Schoology survey. That's what, or a poll. We'll do a poll. Someone remind me after the midterm, because we'll do that after the midterm. Let's focus on the midterm. Alright. It is much easier to focus, isn't it? Alright. Minerals. A lot of your mineral questions, please flip to this page. A lot of you asked me to go over some questions that you just had to read. You just had to read. If you don't feel like putting in the time on this midterm, you are not going to get a good grade. If you don't feel like reading something that will give you the answer, you're not going to get a good grade. So please take the time. You have it. You have like 2.5 hours. Most of you are going to finish this, knowing you all and how fast you take tests, probably in like an hour and a half. So you're going to have to sit there for an hour. So might as well find the answer. Yes, you get a copy of the Earth Science Reference Table. Alright, so like I said, most of this stuff is back here. What is a use of quartz? You go to quartz, you read the uses. Oh, Kristen, I thought you weren't even gonna watch this. So the only thing we need to know is like that practice question that I put on the review sheet for a purpose. Here, I'll write it down in case you are all gonna forget. Internal, as I spell it wrong. Wow, a new subscriber. Notification just popped up. So the internal arrangement of the atoms are why minerals are what they are. Here's my sloppy handwriting for you. So, what that means, if you're asked, why does quartz have this hardness? Because of the internal arrangement of the atoms. I totally spelt that wrong, didn't I? Whatever. Why does muscovite have its crystal structure? Internal arrangement of the atoms. Why does blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah have the same streak? Internal arrangement of the atoms. Got it? Hopefully. Other than that, like I said, most of the mineral stuff is like this, or you just need to know. Here, I'll draw this out for you all with my beautiful drawings. Do we have to know about the soil thing? We're not on soil yet. We're on minerals. You can snap and study at the same time. Like right now was a good break to snap. Alright, so if you're given a diagram like this about minerals, these are the different tests of the properties of minerals. So if you're given a mineral and, oh my god, it leaves behind a powder. You're given a mineral and it scratches glass. You're given a mineral and it's reflecting light. And then you're given a mineral and it breaks nice and evenly. So if you were like asked B, C, D. If you were asked, what physical property is diagram C showing? You need to know that C is referring to luster. So here, I'll write luster there in case anybody is taking a picture of this. Equals luster. If you were asked what is D, oh my gosh, that is either, that would be cleavage. Obviously, if it's uneven breaks. Why can't I spell ever? Then scratching of the glass equals hardness. Wow, like the entire class is watching this. I was not expecting this. And then the streak is up on the front. Brianna, you don't need to know what certain minerals look like. You just need to know like this. So like if you're given a picture what these different tests are, or you need to know that streak is the powder form of the mineral, or you need to know the back of this reference table page, but you're not given a picture of a mineral and being like, what mineral is this? This is, you just need to know about the properties. Yes, I will show you the, he's fast asleep right now. I am not going to disturb him. Well, it says 18 people are watching. There's only 18 people in the class. Bridget, oh, somebody just left. Oh, because they don't comment. Anyway, we're getting off track. All right. So everybody get this? Did you take a picture of it if you wanted it? Oh, two are randos. You're right. Nyla, who knows if their midterm's the same as our midterm? Just an FYI, so don't blame me. All right. Any questions on that? Are we moving on to rocks? 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 Let me know. I really want to know who this brutality person is, because the first thing they said is that they asked me if I was high, so I would really like to know who you are. I would really like to meet you sometime. All right, rocks. Whoops. All right. So everything you need to know about rocks is, oh my gosh, guess where you can find it? In your earth science reference tables. Again, you have so many practice worksheets, a whole test on just rocks and minerals. Miss Fraser, bug Nyla. Who is Nyla? Nyla, who is that? I like how you're quiet and not saying anything. All right. So remember, how your rocks form are right in your reference tables. I'm sorry, bud. Go back to sleep. I woke him up. Go, boy. Go back to sleep. If you don't feel like remembering that, this is what you need to memorize. Your igneous rocks. Your igneous rocks form from melting and solidification. Your sedimentary equals compaction and cementation. Compaction and cementation. And then your metamorphic rocks are heat and pressure. But like I said, all of this is on page 6 of your Earth Science reference tables. Nicole, right there. So, you're asked quite a few questions. Don't be discouraged by the names of the rocks. So if you're given like slate, shale, etc., they're all in your reference table. So as we were doing the practice questions, it was like, which rocks form from compaction and cementation? And your choices weren't igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. They were these crazy rock names like breccia, granite, whatever. So that's when you have to take the time looking at page 6, crossing off all of your igneous rocks. Looking at the bottom of page 7 and crossing off all of your metamorphic rocks. You can use the Earth Science reference tables for the entire midterm. It will be in front of you you hand it out to begin with. You hand it back in when you hand in your exam. Other than that, I have nothing else really to say about rocks. You just have to know how to read your Earth Science reference tables. Again, I'll post, if you don't want to watch my videos, I'll post, just kidding, my videos go to the reference table, but I'll post more practice ones with the Earth Science reference tables. But other than that, any other major questions on rocks or things that you remember you were struggling with? If not, we're going to move on to weathering, erosion, and deposition. Hello, little man. Hi, bud. See, there's Bridget. In case you're all wondering where he moved down into my lap. Can you see him? Probably not. There's his collar. You probably just see the Scooby-Doo blanket. Anywho. All right, weathering, I guess. I know you can't see because it's dark, but it's dark. I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo. What do you want from me? This is the remnants of it, is my Scooby-Doo blanket. All right. So weathering. What we need to do about, I wrote all of this down, so let me think. I'll show him at the end of the video. I will wake him up, make his face face you. If you were here in the beginning, he was sitting on the couch behind me trying to attack my hair, but I told him to go lay down. Alright, so weathering is the breakdown of rock. So we have physical and chemical weathering. So just remember, like, being dissolved, just something being dissolved, like we did an Alka-Seltzer tablet in water. That's just something being broken down. It's not it being transported away. So these key terms such as breaking, dissolving, crumbling, these are all keywords for weathering. It's just the breakdown of a rock. We also need to know that weathering is what forms soil. So, I made you all, oh yeah, if you want to see it, just wait for this to post and just click on it and you'll see him. But I'll show him at the end. So those are all with weathering, and we need to know that weathering makes soil. There's one question about soil, because I made you read that packet on it, so you just need to know that soil is formed from weathering. Alright. Any questions on weathering? Oh, and surface area, which I went over in class. Any questions on surface area and weathering? All right, no one's saying anything, so I'm going to think we're good to move on. Okay, erosion. Again, erosion is the transport. So then, moving on, if you're given a question and then it's talking about transporting something, something moving, something flowing, erosion is the transport. Even when we were doing the practice questions, a lot of people were like, wait, what's erosion and weathering again? You need to know what these terms are. If you don't, it's going to be a problem. Then what we need to do is we need to remember these erosional and depositional features. I would say study your foldables, but I'm not hopeful that we have kept them. And half of you didn't really do what I wanted for them, so they won't help. But we did that in-class activity with the pictures and the cards. The important stuff to know is what we wrote down, that glaciers form U-shaped valleys, your rivers form V-shaped valleys, your sand sculptures, all that stuff. I mean, that is just purely knowing it. It's not really anything too intense. And then, obviously, this lovely stream velocity chart. There are like 1 or 2 questions based off of that. Then we went into deposition. So deposition is the dropping of your particles. So why does this happen? This happens because your agent of erosion slows down. And how do you know this? Well, this chart tells you it. So we need a really high stream velocity to carry boulders, cobbles, etc. As this line starts decreasing, my stream velocity starts decreasing, so it can't carry the larger particles. So important things to remember, that your larger particles fall first, smaller particles last. So, like this picture we should be sick of, but hey, I'll draw it one more time. So when a river enters a lake, it's going to drop the large particles first down to the smaller particles. So if we wanted to put a size with that, just look at that. So your boulders are dropped first. Boulders all the way down to clay being dropped last. You need to know that. There's a question on it. What's the format? Good question. Hang on. I'll look it up. Wow, Snapchat is the way people keep in touch these days? Just kidding. I guess I would say the same. Oh, sorry, what was I doing? Oh, I was looking up the format of the midterm. Earth Science midterm. It is. The midterm is 55 multiple choice questions. And then question 56 to 75 are short answers. A lot of questions are very, very similar to test questions and the review packet. So I would really Swanson equals Dory? Dory? And 55? Why not 55? You all fly through 30 multiple choice questions in like 30 minutes. I had to fill up 2 hours and 55 minutes. What do you all want? Alright, so there's a question like this. You need to know that. You need to know that. Oh, I do have short-term memory loss. Wow. Alright, so any questions on weathering, erosion, deposition, or I'm moving on to, where are we? The water cycle. Any questions? Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to the water cycle. Yeah, I just did deposition. Larger particles are deposited first, and you need to know the depositional features, which I went over in class. You have a foldable on. You have many worksheets on that I'm not going over. So like I have hinted many times, and I will hint again, there is a diagram of the water cycle. It's like a 7-point question. And you need to label every single process in the water cycle. So let me use my artistic talents yet again. This would be a good time to answer some Snapchats, because this is going to take at least like 2 minutes. Mr. Fraser! Hello. Are you talking about the Duke game, Kristen? Because the Duke game is on. Ugh. Ugh. Alright. Water cycle. Here it is. Oh, I miss Mr. Fraser as well. He needs to come to Nardin sometime. Who wants the NBA? Fine. What time does that game even start? 8? 8:30? Alright. So again, number 1. Going from the tree. Number 1, no, Sam, I didn't. Let me scroll up. What is transpiration? I don't get it. Okay, transpiration is number 1. Whenever you have, it's basically evaporation through the leaves of a tree. So you just need to remember that transpiration, you find the tree, whatever arrow is going from the tree is transpiration. So number 1 would be transpiration. Number 2, so the tree is on the ground. Number 2 is going into the ground. When something goes into the ground, this is infiltration. There is no word bank. There is no anything. You need to know these words. 3 is when the water is running off the surface down into the lake. So that is known as runoff. 4 is precipitation. 5 is condensation. 6 is evaporation. 7 is a tricky one. That is the water table. It is in the ground. Yeah, no word bank. You need to remember all of these. So maybe take a picture right now. You're not going to fail, Nicole. So again, 1 is transpiration. 2, it's going into the ground, is infiltration. 3 is runoff. Just think of your water droplet stories. 4, the rain is falling. That's precipitation. 5 is my cloud. There's condensation. 6 is coming up from the water, evaporation. 7 is this level of water in the ground, the water table. You all need to have more faith in yourselves. This is so simple. You do not need to explain it. You just need to label it. That's it. All right. The last thing about the water cycle that we have to talk about is porosity and permeability. But you have so many practice questions on that. I made you do a whole practice worksheet on that. So I know everybody always, I usually end up on people's Snap stories with all these random filters of me just talking, so it's nothing new. Billy. So in terms of porosity and permeability, just a reminder of what they are. Porosity, the amount of pore space, is only going to change when we mix the particle size. Then permeability, the ability of water to flow through. It's going to be faster the larger the particles are. I mean, we did a lab on it. Just kind of think about it logically. If you were about to pour a whole water bottle of water through something with really large holes, it's going to fly through it. If it's really compacted, the water needs to find its way through before it comes down. Again, you have a whole review packet on it because we didn't have a test or a quiz on it. But I did ask us to do some practice questions, and you have the whole review sheet. So are there any major questions or concerns? Please let me know right now, because I'm pretty sure I went over everything. What's on your math test? Anyway, quick question from the review guide. If you get a 65, do I pass? Yeah, 65 is passing. I think so. Capillarity, upward movement of water, like water retention. I don't think there's a question on it. There might be. Natalia, yes, review guide. Let me pull it up. What's your question? Give me a number. Oh my gosh, Duke is going to lose another game. Can you go over 28? Nicole, the answer sheet, that thing that I posted, if you just scroll all the way down, so scroll all the way down to the last page of what I posted, the answers are there. Sorry, Natalia, I forgot what question. I believe the diagram's the only water cycle question. Don't quote me on that, though. But, I mean, that question's worth like 7 points, so it's most of it. 28. All right, let me scroll to 28. Oh, crud. I opened the wrong thing. Hang on. Midterm docs. First science midterm. 28. 28. Okay, so 28... I would say you need to know most of that vocab. I mean, all of it, if you know the vocab, it's not like you're going to be asked what's the definition of capillarity. Like, you're not going to be asked questions like that. It's more so you're going to be asked to, like, you need to know that information in order to answer the question. So it will help you, but memorizing it, I would say the only vocab words that you need to know in terms of the diagram is the water cycle one. But, I mean, knowing the vocab is only going to help you. It should have helped you answer the review sheet questions, etc. But anyway, let me get back to Natalia's question. Number 28. So number 28, you're shown a diagram of 3 different rocks, and you have to pick which ones are your sedimentary, metamorphic, or igneous, like which goes to which type. So you're told that A is weathering, erosion, deposition, and compaction. So that should tell you that whatever is forming A is your sedimentary rock. So if you look at the diagram, the arrows that have letter A are pointing to rock type 1. So you should know that rock type 1 is your igneous rock. I'm so sorry. Your sedimentary rock, because it's formed from compaction. Then if we look at letter B, we're told letter B is melting followed by cooling and solidification. That is an igneous rock. So wherever you see the arrows of B going to, so you see the arrows of B going to rock type 2 is your igneous rock. And then finally for letter C, you see all the arrows going to rock type 3, and we're told letter C is heat and pressure. So that should be metamorphic. So that's why the choice is choice 2. Yes, filters on my face are very funny when you're doing a live stream. I know. I probably shouldn't have said that, because now probably everyone's going to do it for the last, like, 10 minutes. Oh, and 20. Okay, 20. So 20 we went over in class. fine. I'll do it again. So the key is in the description of you reading, not necessarily the diagram. So if you read, it says that the below are magnifying views of 3 stages of mineral crystals as molten material cools. So I wrote it down earlier. Molten material, melting and solidification, is your igneous rock. So that is your key, that we are looking for an igneous rock. So then, using your choices, you would just have to scroll through your reference table and find out which one is an igneous rock, which one we would find down here, and that's why the answer would be 3, Gabbro. Duke's down at half right now, I believe, the last time I checked. I'm trying, oh no, they're up by 2 at half. Somebody must have made a 3. All right. No, gosh, snaps. Any other questions that everybody has? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm pretty sure I went over everything. You all should know better than I, if I did. Yes, I'm a teacher. I'm much older than I look. 54. I'm not young. I'm an old lady. I throw my back out like all the time. I'm sitting on the floor. 54. Who are you, Sir Brutality? I'm scrolling. Oh, cooling rates. Oh, thank you. We did not go over that. That is something you need to know. So with an igneous rock, the larger the crystal size, the longer it took to cool. So think the larger crystal size, they had more time to form, so it's cooling slower. If it has no crystals or very tiny crystals, it cooled very fast. So looking at 54, it wants you to contrast A with B. So magma inside the earth cools much slower. So basically you would need to say something to the effect of that the crystals at A would be larger than the crystals at B. Kristen, I am old. I'm old. I just look young. Does that make sense, Natalia? So you had to know that magma was cooling slower, so therefore those crystals would be larger. Come here, Papa. Let's say hi. Let's say hi, everybody. Come here. Oh. Here he is, for those of you that wanted to see him. He's real tired, so he's probably not going to look. That's okay. See? He doesn't want to stay up here. He knows. You're okay, right? Hmm? Look here. What's that? What's that? Look there. Look there. See, he's going away. He thinks someone's here. You can hear him barking. He is a good boy. Atlas, no one's here. He's barking by the door. Are they really barking at him? That's funny. I am. He's actually going to be there Wednesday, but none of you actually have to be there Wednesday. I have to bring him with me because no one can watch him. And I'll be at Nardin from like 7 a.m. to like noonish. If for some reason you're there, stop down in the dungeon and you can meet him. Any earth science related questions? I'll stay on here till... Ready, Kristen? I'll stay on here till 7:59 so everybody can leave. So I'll stay on here for like 4 more minutes if anybody has any questions. And then we'll see. Let's not all overwhelm him, please. I probably shouldn't have told you he's coming in. Don't overwhelm him. He's a little pupper. And I actually have to get work done, so if you could, like, keep your visit to, like, 30 minutes, that would be fine. Don't go. Brutality. I don't even know who you are. If you want me to stay, then, you better tell me who you are. You know what? I bet it's Nyla on just, like, a different account, and she subscribed to her real YouTube channel, so she would have another subscriber. That's what I'm thinking right now. The soil thing, yes. You just have to basically know that weathering is the main cause of soil. Wait, 59. Oh, you can ask so many questions. It's fine. I'll stay as long as people have questions. What's up, Pop? Yeah. Okay. Come here, Mommy. Do you want to lay down? Come on. You're okay. Oh, what? You like this blanket? Here you go. Sorry. 59. Describe one surface condition that would cause runoff to occur. Oh my gosh. I went over that as well. What, Nicole? More runoff. We want more precipitation, saturated soil, impermeable ground, so like a lot of concrete, frozen ground. Any one of those would be acceptable answers. Nicole, you already told me you missed me. I mean, it has been an extra day. You should have seen me today, but we had off. Don't worry, Nicole. I'll pop in. Don't worry, everybody. I brought you all Jolly Ranchers for the midterm because I wanted some. Besides, people say you should eat mints, but I wasn't really in a minty mood, so I got some Jolly Ranchers. It's a huge bag. It's like the 5-pound bag. I can't believe you're all still watching me right now. You're probably watching him. I'm surprised he's not attacking my head. But you're probably going to have to wait like a half hour, because I think it's going to be a half hour before I could stop in to your room. Everybody wants all the blue Jolly Ranchers, so it's going to be a fight to the death. Oh my god, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take out all the blue ones and keep them for myself. What, Kylie? You know, green apple and cherry are just underrated. They're okay. I go, boy. I'm only gonna go live for review sessions. Oh my god, I'm totally taking out all the blue raspberry ones. That's all I have to say. Oh my gosh, one more minute, and then if, what's withdrawal? Withdrawal of what? I'll go, oh, you'll go through withdrawal for not, oh well, they're all mine. Miss Fraser, you will not come into my room and take the Jolly Ranchers because they will be on my person. You would have to tackle me to get them. So, it's 7:59. So can people, like, do you have questions or not? Or I'm going to leave, even though I feel bad cutting you all off because, like, everyone is still watching. But I actually have a lot of emails in my inbox to answer. Well, that's one email answered. Physics peeps are like freaking out just a little bit. Hang on. It said I was sending too many comments. Yes, is it? Is the roommate into earth science? No. She's a nurse. She's never home. That's why he's mine. Wait, don't go. Who is Brutality? It's Nyla. It's gotta be Nyla. Okay, I'll leave him on as I'm answering emails, but then I'm probably going to leave. So, if you just want to stare at him, fine. He just likes to be near me. He can't sleep if he's not touching me. It says what school we're from right in the title. There he is. He's right there. What's the matter? Can you lay down? Don't threaten Mr. Fraser, Nicole. Well, my name? That's not my name. My name is the name on the account. I'm Miss Frizzle, obviously. Nicole, stop. Nicole, you're getting creepy. I think I'm gonna leave now. Everybody, everybody, Alex Smith. Who are these peeps? Oh. I was actually thinking about chopping off my hair. But, anywho. Why are you all still watching me? Oh! I have something in the crock pot. I really gotta go. Usually I chop it to like... I teach earth science, physics, and engineering. What? Thanks. Thanks, Papa. I know, I'm very entertaining. I should just make my own YouTube channel. But, I'm sorry, peeps. I gotta, get on with my life. It's been fun. I appreciate you all sticking around. Hopefully you'll actually go study for your midterm, because I know you all can do great. But, goodbye, Atlas. Do you have to go out? Come on. And then, I will be in to check on all of you. You can rewatch this in about like 30 minutes once I take him out and save the crock pot. I will post extra help videos. And then, of course I'm a nerd. Anywho, see you all in the morning.